everyone, Charles Watts here from the Emirates. As you can see, everyone drifting away now. It's finished Arsenal 2, Tottenham 2 in the North London derby. First North London derby of the season. Honours even here in North London, and you have to say Spurs deserved their point. Arsenal were not great. Not really much sure what else I can say. They weren't great. It was a pretty poor performance, Arsenal. For the first half hour, they were excellent. Pressed Tottenham really well, dominated, got the goal. They just took their foot off the gas. Whether, I don't know, it was strange. Tottenham just got a little 5-minute period where they had a couple of chances. Brennan Johnson had a chance that Raya made an excellent save for, and that seemed to spark them into life in a little bit. And Arsenal struggled to clear their lines just for 5 minutes or so. And they ended up conceding with a really poor goal to concede, and it just gave Tottenham something to hold on to a little bit. And then there was, I don't know what's going on yet. I haven't seen Mikel Arteta's doing his press conference at the moment downstairs, so I don't know what the deal is. But Declan Rice went off at half time. I think that was a real blow for Arsenal. They lost the midfield battle after that. Jorginho came on and just struggled a little bit with the pace of the game. I mean, Arsenal got themselves back in front with the penalty, of course. Saka scoring the penalty out of nothing, really a handball. But then within a minute, they'd given a goal away. And 2-2, Jorginho getting caught in possession by Maddison, who slipped in Son, who scored again. And that was just a real big moment. That there was a couple of big moments in this game, and it just both of them went against Arsenal. It was that, having got themselves in front 2-1, just got to hold on to that lead, hold on to it, but they didn't, and they let Tottenham back into it. And then in the first half at 1-0, when they were on top and playing really well, Gabriel Jesus missed a really good opportunity to make it 2-0, and that was just a real big turning point. I felt, had that gone in when Arsenal were well on top, getting a 2-goal advantage, I think they go on and they win this game pretty comfortably, but they didn't. He missed it, and then within about 5 minutes Tottenham had equalised, and they'd given themselves something to hold on to and a foothold in the game. And ultimately now, sort of looking at it in 90 minutes, you have to say Tottenham deserved it. They deserved the point. They played pretty well. They didn't create too many chances, but they certainly gave Arsenal a proper game, and it just wasn't a very good performance for Arsenal. They looked tired. Maybe the PSV game in midweek had a bit of an impact on it, but I don't know, Mikel had chances in that game against PSV to give people a breather. He did it, and yet they still look leggy today. I'm not sure Mikel got his team selection right. For me, Gabriel Jesus played on the left and Nketiah up front. Obviously Trossard got injured, a little slight muscle injury, Arsenal was saying, and I don't know, Reece Nelson's looked really bright when he's come on this season, and if he's not ready to start this game, it's like, well, why has he got a new contract? If you don't want to, you're missing Martinelli, you're missing Trossard, surely you should be starting Reece Nelson on the left and play Gabriel Jesus as a central striker. Jesus played so well against PSV, looked really back to his best, and then stick him out on the left hand side, it felt a little bit odd to me. It felt like it, it could have worked if Eddie Nketiah had a good game, but Eddie struggled, physically struggled. He couldn't hold the ball up. You could see Tottenham's defenders fancied their chances against him, and with Jesus out on the left, just looked a little bit lightweight up front. Although Arsenal pressed really well in that first half an hour, they just couldn't maintain it, and Tottenham started to get out, and then they started to get a foothold in the game in the second half after Declan Rice went off. And we'll wait and see. Fingers crossed it's not a bad injury to Declan Rice. We'll have to see. Saka went off at the end as well. And again, Mikel could have taken Saka off earlier. He looked injured. You could tell he couldn't continue, but he kept him on. He took Jesus off. He kept it in Nketiah on. When Nelson on the left, was just a few strange decisions, I think, that kind of played into Tottenham's hands. We'll have to wait and see what Mikel says in the press conference about the extent of the injury to Saka and to Declan Rice. But the Declan Rice one was definitely a big one. Arsenal lost control in that midfield. Jorginho, who's done really well since he's come from Chelsea, has not made too many mistakes, but he made a big error, massive error, just as Arsenal got themselves back in front. And I just felt Basuma and Sarr, they started to control that midfield battle. And yeah, I was quite relieved, I have to say, when Postecoglou took Son and Maddison off. I think that the game changed again at that point, and Arsenal started to get on top a little bit. Tottenham didn't really have that threat in the number 10 position and that threat on the break, and Arsenal started to control things a little bit, but they never really looked like scoring. There's no real clear-cut chances there, and yeah, I thought Tottenham thoroughly deserved their point. I mean, it's not the worst result in the world for Arsenal, but any draw now, when you're up against Manchester City, when the aim is to compete for the title, any draw feels like a defeat. City now 4 points clear of Arsenal after 6 games. Big game coming up against them in a few weeks' time here at Emirates. Okay, let's move on to some player ratings now. David Raya started to go. It's a weird game for Raya, I thought, considering how good he is in terms of his distribution, and a lot of why we think that Raya's come in and replaced Aaron Ramsdale is down to his distribution. I thought his distribution was really poor today. He struggled a lot. He gave the ball away a lot. Made an amazing save from Brennan Johnson at 1-0. kind of mirrored David Seaman's save against pesky Saliba all the way back in that FA Cup semi-final at Old Trafford a long time ago. It's a fantastic save, really was. But like I said, his distribution was a little bit poor, and I haven't really seen a proper replay of it, but even the first goal felt like he maybe could have caught the cross that he sort of didn't, and then Tottenham recycled the ball and ended up scoring. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, I thought, from David Rice today. I'm going to give him a 6. In defence, I thought William Saliba was fantastic. I thought he was Arsenal's best player, in fact, and that says a lot about Arsenal's performance today. That I'm going to give William Saliba man of the match in the centre back. I'm going to give him an 8. I thought Gabriel played well. He got a 7. Fullbacks, I'm going to give a 7 each in terms of Zinchenko and Ben White. White and Odegaard and Saka just didn't quite have that link up that they normally have down the right hand side. Tottenham, fair play to Odogi, or however you pronounce the young Italian fullback's name that they've got. I thought that might be a real key area for Arsenal to exploit there. A young player up against Saka, and although Saka's, I think it'll probably go down as 2 assists, because I imagine the first one was an own goal from Romero. Although he ended up getting the assist and then getting the penalty, I thought Odogi played really well against him. And that right hand side that's normally so effective for Arsenal just struggled a little bit. So we give Ben White a 7, Zinchenko a 7. In midfield, I thought Rice was playing well in midfield. He was controlling that midfield. When he went off, you could just see Arsenal lacked that presence and that ability to break play up, and they just didn't look as good when he'd gone off the pitch. So Declan Rice, I'm going to give him a 7 for his first 45 minutes. Maybe that's a little bit being nice a little bit. Maybe I should give him a 6, but I'll give him a 7. Odegaard pressed like a man possessed for half an hour, but seemed to tire as the game wore on. Not surprising after Wednesday night as well. So give Odegaard a 7. Vieira, I don't think Vieira did too badly, but he got hooked at half time for Havertz. I can see that maybe Arsenal or Arteta felt he needed a bit more physicality in midfield. I'll give Vieira a 6. Bukayo Saka, like I said, I didn't think it was Saka's best game by any means, but he did end it with an assist and a goal. Penalty went down the middle. I've not seen him ever go down the middle with a penalty before. So I'll give it, Saka's got to get a 7 really when you get an assist and a goal in a North London derby. I don't think he had taken away, but I didn't think it was his best performance, and he really struggled towards the end. He got that injury, stayed on probably longer than he should have done. I feel like Arteta probably should have taken him off earlier than he did. So I give Saka a 7. Eddie Nketiah really struggled. It just didn't work for Eddie today. The ball was bouncing off him. He couldn't hold it up. I thought Arsenal were worse off because of that. So I felt like Jesus probably should have moved up front, and Reece Nelson should have played on the left. It's a really difficult day, I thought, for Eddie. I'm going to have to give him a 4, I'm afraid. And over on the left-hand side, Jesus, he worked hard as he always does. He did cause Tottenham a few problems. He got on the ball, but I'd much rather seen him in that central striking position. I don't get why, if you're without Martinelli and you're out Trossard, why you're moving Jesus out to the left. Just play Reece Nelson. It just really feels like a strange decision to me. Especially when Reece Nelson's been playing really, really well, and he's looked really bright when he came on, as he did against PSV in midweek. So yeah, I thought Jesus did alright, but playing out of position, he really struggled to make too much of an impact on the game, so I can give him a 6. Jorginho and Havertz came on at half time for Vieira and Rice. Jorginho obviously had a nightmare moment to give away the goal. Got caught in possession again soon after that as well, and got lucky that time. But tough day. He's not done much wrong since he arrived at the club, Jorginho, but today was a tough day for him. I'm going to give him a 5. Havertz did alright, nothing special. Gave him a 6, and then a couple of subs came on. Like I said, Nelson and Smith Rowe came on. Smith Rowe very, very late for Saka, but couldn't make any sort of influence on the game at all, so I'm not going to give either of those two a mark. So yeah, just a bit of a disappointing day here. I think everyone arrived, there was lots of expectation on what Arsenal could do here in North London derby. You felt like it was a game they could have won, but injuries are beginning to bite now. They've got some really key players out injured. We wait and see what's wrong with Declan Rice, and we wait and see the extent of Saka's problem when he linked off at the end. But injuries are definitely having an impact on this start to the Arsenal season. They're still not really hit the ground running yet, aside from that game against PSV in midweek, and they'll look back at this as a big opportunity missed. To lead twice, to get pegged back twice, and to really gift Tottenham their goals as well. They'll be very, very disappointed today, even though they didn't play anywhere near the best. It's finished here in the North London derby. Arsenal 2, Tottenham 2.